Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite Creator. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the power, and the wonders and the wisdom of the universe. With that said, this subject is one that the angels kind of kick me around and say, "Hey, time for a topic. Let's have a discussion." And this is one of those times. Now, today is my birthday, and this I wasn't going to do a video today, not because it's my birthday. I just had other plans, but something about the power of faith. And have discussed it many times before. And what is power? What is faith? And what is the power of faith? How do you put the two of those together? Well, I had a wonderful surprise. My daughter showed up from out of town to greet me in the middle of the night for my birthday. That's the reason I'm still up and doing this video now. So it's through the power of faith that you say, will anything ever good come? Will anybody ever surprise me on my birthday? I mean, I gave up on some of that stuff a long time ago. But it's the idea, though, that somebody's still out there thinking and wishing, and they got other thoughts than what we may conjecture on our own. And I'm a conjecturist, if you will, because I've known for many years that, if I feel like somebody's hiding something from me, the topic that I discussed a couple of weeks ago about the difference between privacy and secrecy. If you're trying to keep something private, does that mean it's secret? Well, it's private, but does that mean but the thing is that we as human beings, and when we read other folk, we say, well, that person's holding something back. Well, that's because they said it's private. Well, then they're holding a secret. Well, wait a minute, but this isn't about that. But the idea, though, that how we interact with other human beings and whether or not we trust that feeling within us. And so when my daughter shows up, and we've been talking for the last 4 hours ish kind of thing, 3 hours, and catching up, and understanding that after having not seen her in 3 or 4 years, but, within 20 minutes, we're kind of caught up because we already understand that despite all the little menial things that may have happened in our each individual lives, spiritually and mentally, and where we are on this on this red road, that we're still in sync, despite the miles, despite the tension, what people have to deal with their own lives. And conjecture on my part is, well, my daughter hasn't called me, I wonder what's going wrong, she doesn't love me anymore. That's my conjecture, but the conjecture is false, because it's like my feelings are, well, why isn't somebody contacting me? Well, this is the power of faith. That's why I'm bringing this up. The power of faith is that my daughter, this is true because we just reconnected again a few minutes ago, in that, listen, you can hear my prayers when I send them. And I understand that I can feel her presence at times. And that we agree that, yep, we can't sit down with our watches and go exactly the time, but we know that we've received these things. So in my spiritual growth as an individual and as a suspicious person, because people are holding secrets or they're being private and they don't want to share with me, I have to understand, we all have to learn that a person's privacy doesn't necessarily mean it's a secret. They just don't want to share it. But at the same point, there are people who share things, but did we pick them up correctly? Did we interpret it correctly? Did my daughter really think of me as, this prayer? Well, when you find out that the in-between stuff, the mental stuff, is just like we're still on the same page, and never left. But the things that go in between, that's the confusion part. So the conjecture on my part is, well, you don't love me, this, that, and the other thing. Nah, people have lives to live. And that's what we need to understand. And that brings up the power of faith, because I have faith in my daughter, and I have faith in the power of love, and the love between us, and the spiritualness that we have shared over the years. So that in itself is a power. That's the power of love. Despite the miles and despite the whatever, that it is still there. The love is still there, which is power. It gives power to each of us, me on my end and her on hers. But the faith is that our, well, is my pops listening, or is my daughter listening, or is this person getting the hugs I send, or is this person understanding, or I send a little message or a positive thought or email or something, whatever it may be. That power is the influence of positivity. So I'm always like, regardless of what's going on in their life, I don't want to say, well, that's wrong, blah, blah, blah. No, no. I want to be positive. I want to send love and honor and the faith, the power of faith, that they will make the correct decision, whatever it may be, and that they will have the faith within themselves to listen to the universe to make these decisions. And that's the power of faith. Now, it comes in many ways, and people will use the Bible and people will read different things, and that's all good and dandy. You could read a fiction book and find something in there that could represent some kind of positivity in your own life, or self-reflection. Like, holy crap, I have that behavior. Maybe that's not a character I wish to be reminded as. So as we grow older and we accept and receive the healing and the knowledge from the universe, which I always consider is, one of the reasons I'm still here after 67 years, is that I chose to make a difference. I chose to see things differently. I chose to make a higher vibration, and to, despite my age and my decrepity, still be able to do something and still be able to create a positive thing to the universe. So to the many people and that are out there who are suffering from different ailments, and a lot of ailments are caused by the phrase that comes up is sins of the heart. And it means that in this respect, it means that somehow we think we've done something wrong, which is somehow a sin, in regards to some bad karma, if you will, in regards to a religious term. But if we have a sin, that whatever it may be, that's the privacy, that's the secret we may hold or keep. But whatever it is, it's something that we morally or chose to do differently or whatever, and we wish to be better at. But some of us, we hold shame with these things, and some people hold on to things for years and years and years. They use alcohol and abuse drugs. I know I did, to get away from some of these things. But the power of faith is when you start saying, wait a minute, I don't need these outside things. If I just go ahead and deal with whatever it is I need to deal with, and I say, listen, I honestly wish to be forgiven. I forgive myself and to the universe. Do I have the power to change that? I have the power to wipe the guilt from myself, which a lot of people don't understand. So they carry guilt with them. And with that guilt then comes all these other unfaithful things, meaning that they hide from themselves. They may drink, they may do different behaviors because they don't wish to stand up to their own truth. To their whatever it is their own personal guilt is. Now, not everybody has it, but to the point though that those people who may carry it, the power that they have is to change it. They have the power to say, listen, I've reached this point in my life. And to those who say, well, I've been saved again. Well, okay, that may be a very good term in certain areas. But the idea, though, that what saves you, it's the fact that you forgive yourself. You can ask the Creator, I wish for forgiveness. But until you forgive yourself, Creator is like, well, okay, it's always been here. You have to accept and receive the healing from the universe. That's the power of the faith. When you have faith in the universe, when you have faith that there are higher powers out there, not necessarily a God sitting on a throne per se, but to the universal one, to the source of all goodness, when you understand that it is there and all around us at all times, and we have the power to accept or receive it. And when we choose to do it, when we choose to use it for our benefit, when we choose to do something different, when we choose to make a difference in this world, that's the power. And our faith is in that I will listen to my higher self, to the angels, to the good spirit, to my own guardian angel, to my own spirit guide, your own spirit guide. And that's very important because then you know that voice is true. You have had practice with your spirit guide, your angel. You know that the information you're getting is true and correct with the universe. That's the faith that you gain. That's the power that you have to accept or receive. And it's not about a religion. Although I read religious text, all different kinds, Bhagavad Gita, the ancients, the Bible. But the thing is that when you seek answers, all these different religions always say to seek within. And for those of you with the Dante group and the 72 plus, for those of us, we are part of the bigger plan because we can choose to be in a positive attitude. We can choose to right wrongs in our own areas. We can choose to have faith on a higher level than maybe some other people would not. And we rely upon our own internal instincts and our own knowledge that we receive through our own source guide, our own guardian angel. And in that, we become better human beings. We become better spiritual beings. We become better high frequency beings in general and understand there's a bigger picture to this. There are many of us who think that on a daily basis that, well, what does my life matter? You have the choice to make a difference. Well, yeah, but what does it matter? Well, that's up to you. I know that I have been blessed with the people who have subscribed to this channel and who have interacted with me. I mean, I know this is an odd time of the morning for me to do a video, but it's for there. And I know that there are other people out there who will watch this. And I say thank you to all of you because that has helped me to become a better spiritual person myself. Because in having these conversations with you and your opinions, your things, a good teacher will learn from their students. But at the same point, the teacher has to have a common core knowledge. And in that, as a shaman in training, that I have understood this common core, and we all have it. It's whether or not we choose to use the power of our faith to do something about it, to make a change. Well, I don't know if, there's somebody broke down the sideway. Well, you might be a few minutes late, or it might delay, or it's an inconvenience, but do you stop to help the person? Or you just zoom on by? In the Bible, it would be possibly the story about the Good Samaritan, and in that, would you stop and help somebody on the side of the road? And there have people in my life that I was having a chat with a friend of mine the other day, and I said, there was a time I almost froze to death on the side of the road, and this gentleman picked me up, and he was playing gospel music and singing at the top of his lungs, but I was freezing to death, and he took me in for about an hour and warmed me up riding in his truck, and then treated me to breakfast, and said, just pass it on. And this was way before Oprah started this pass it on stuff. This was like in 74, actually 1973. So I've had the blessings of other people to help me when I was broke down on the side of the road and literally freezing to death, and had people help me up. And so we have to know that we are all good Samaritans because we have the power to do something different. We have the power to say, you know what, I'm going to help this individual out. You know what, I'm going to do this. You know what, I'm going to, instead of doing whatever, maybe just sitting on your rear end, or doing, spending money on some odd thing, whatever it may be. But maybe it's just spending time with a person. Maybe it's just taking the time out to be with another person, simply to be with them, just to share your energy, just to give them a smile. I live by myself down here, and to see my daughter show up in the middle of the night, I haven't seen her in a couple of years. It's like, holy crap, talk about a big smile on my face. But that's the power that she chose at the last minute to come up, drive up here and say, hey, surprise, happy birthday, Pops. The power of faith, though. I almost was someplace else tonight. I'm supposed to be someplace else. And I listened to my own spirit. That's the power and the faith that I needed to stay home tonight. And lo and behold, not understanding cosmically, why did I have to stay home? There are people up there that I'm supposed to go visit with, um and my daughter shows up. Oh, ye of little faith. What I thought was like, wow, I was supposed to be with friends tonight. Had I gone, I'd have missed my daughter. And the faith that sometime the angels will put something and say, no, sorry, maybe you should actually just stay here right now, and the answer will be shown to you. Do you have the faith? And that's the power within me. That's the power within each of us, is to be able to say, listen, I have the power to use my own understanding and wisdom. I have the power to use this knowledge and to access my own spirit guide and say, hey, how's this hanging here? Is this a good idea? Yes or no? And so where I should have went somewhere, I stayed home, and my daughter shows up. Have faith. Have faith in the universe. Have faith that there are things out there that will surprise you. I know not all surprises are this wonderful, but hey, take them where you get them. But the thing is, though, it's with the spiritual connection, though, the reconnection with my daughter, I can honestly and safely say, I've said this before, in that our connection doesn't waver. If anything, it's stronger because now we've had a chance to talk for a few hours and reconnect on and give each other hugs and know that, yep, we're still on this level. Yep, we still understand these things. Yep, we still got this. Yes, we still have faith between each other. And we have the power of each of ourselves to understand that I have faith in her, she has faith in me, and that's the power of love between us. How about that one? As a testimony of love and faith and honor with a daughter and a son. And there were times I could have cursed and swore, my daughter doesn't ever call. But that's conjecture on my part. But what I have to understand and have faith in is, regardless of whether I get a call from my daughter, is that I have faith that she still loves me regardless. That is the key. And when people start believing these core values between not just my own daughter, but between other people, when we understand these core values and trust them and allow for privacy to happen without worrying about secrecy, because that will kill the power and that will tear faith away. So we go in with our guard up, but we also go in with our heart and with the faith that with whatever we intend to pursue with other people or other thoughts or things, programs, whatever, in that is my knowledge and my own power. Do I retain my own power? And I've talked about my being in prison before. And one of the things that people have asked me, and recently, is they said, well, you had to give up your dignity. And I said, yeah, well, up to a point. They made you strip sometimes. And sometimes they use the old finger with a plastic glove, with a plastic glove. But, hey, it is what it is. You're in prison. But I never lost my own personal dignity. I always knew who I was, even though I was in their jail and I had to go by their rules. I still maintained my own self-respect and my own personal dignity. And they in the jail knew about this. And I played that card and came out of there smelling like a rose and never having to bend over for anybody and do the nasty to get anything that I wanted. But I received things because I was an honest, truthful, and respectful individual. Even though we made hooch on the side, but that's another story. When you're in prison, you got to act like a prisoner sometimes. I was no goody two shoes, but to the idea though that I wasn't selling out my friends, but at the same time, I wouldn't let any friend quote put me in danger of losing my position. So it's like, nah, you ain't gonna cutthroat me. I will protect my own. But anyway, enough about that. But see, you have to have faith within your own self, and you have to have the understanding that you have the power of self control. You have the power of having faith in yourself that, you know what, I'm knee deep in hog mess, but I know that if I wiggle enough and go over toward in that direction, I'm going to reach the shore. So instead of just standing there and saying, oh, woe is me, I'm knee deep in pig crap, I choose to walk towards the shore and wash my nasty self off. It's the choices we make. Which shore do you go to? Well, the damn closest one if you can. Yeah, but what if it gets deeper? Well, what if you have to actually swim in it? Well, what if it's longer that way, but it's only ankle deep? You know, do you choose to submerge yourself and go for the nearest shore? These are decisions we have to make in life. Sometimes it's crap all around us, and any decision we make is still crap. But do we have the faith that we're going to make a less crappy decision? We're going to say, well, I'm going to go this way, but I know I have to go. I know I got to walk through this pig stuff, but I only got to go a short distance, and I'm just going to do it and walk. Sometimes we have to. And sometimes that journey is within. Sometimes that is the shame and the guilt and whatever it is that we internally keep that keeps us from hearing our higher self, that keeps us from having 100.1% faith in yourself, in the universe, in angels, in other entities and dimensions and of the universe. I mean, just whoa, accept that there's more out there. And the more I allow myself to expand on that idea, how big is the universe? Well, there is no box, in my opinion. Heaven to me is not a gated community. The universe is heaven. I can experience heaven right now in meditation. I received heaven as a gift this evening or this morning from my daughter who showed up to wish me a happy birthday in the middle of the night. And so, how much more lightness, how much more, what greater gift, than my daughter showing up, and she knows that, which is, I love her for that. But the thing is that I've had to have faith over the years that just because she didn't come and see me, I knew she was walking through crap, and I had to have enough faith that even though I couldn't help her, but in my own faith, I had to continue to send her prayers. So the faith between us is in the prayers. I've got your back this way spiritually, honey. If anything you need to talk about, I'm here. And since I've been doing videos and things, she knows that there's access to see pops, and for me to share my wisdom, that it may be. But with this is not necessarily my birthday wish, but in a way, if you're, still here after 24 minutes in, I wish to thank you very much. And if you wish me happy birthday earlier, this is my birthday wish. I wish that you will share something with someone today. Thank you for your blessings if you send them. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I accept them with all great humbleness. And I know some of you do send me blessings and wishes, and I get them. I've discussed it before. So understand that this energy is real. Understand, have that faith in the universe that yes, you can just sit down and have a minute or two good thought and send it to somebody. Now, here's the thing about meditation and sending images and messages. it's easier, better in the universe for you to, if you've got a message that's like longer than 30 seconds that you want to portray to, like, for me, between me and my daughter, I will send her an image of something versus, a long worn out prayer that's 10 minutes long that's going to be like, what's that? People are more receptive to short bursts of messages like, wait a minute, what was that? I was thinking about you. Yeah, I caught that. But if you try to do this long meditation thing and stuff, sometimes people don't hear that. They go, what? Because it's too long. So if you're going to send somebody a mental image message or something and a blessing, little short, boom, spring, just send them out there. And sometimes they are much more highly effective than a long meditation or a prayer or a song or something. Now, there are healing songs and prayers. This is not what I mean. I'm talking about just sending somebody a good image, a good vibe, a positive thought for the day. So, but anyway, I didn't think I'd yak on this long, but you know me and my long-windedness. But the sun's starting to come up here, and it is breaking dawn, pun intended. And for those of you who may be in the know, you may get that. But there are changes coming this fall, and we have the power and should have the faith to take these things. As speaking with my daughter, changes with her, speaking with other people, changes with them. There are changes that are happening right now. And one of the changes are that those people who are aware of things are like, ain't taking the crap no more. That's one biggie. It's like, listen, um, we're either going to walk at least primarily together, but if you're going to, keep shoving me in the ditch, or as I was explaining, you and a partner, whether it's a business partner or a friend or a partner, someone, another entity other than you, if you're both going down the spiritual path, then the last thing you want to do is push your friend, family member, or whoever into oncoming traffic. You know what I'm saying? If there's evil going this way, what do you want to do? Shove them over there or throw them in a ditch? No, that's like the absolute wrong thing that you want to do. So in the spiritual realm of things, when you have the faith and the power, one of the powers that you may have is to not push a friend of yours into oncoming traffic, or to save them, you grab a hold of their arm and go, hey, hang on here. You may be headed for oncoming traffic. Did you know that you're weaving? If you go in the ditch, that's one thing, but it's a whole nother thing that if you head into oncoming traffic. Hello, Mother Nature. Cheers back to you. I'm as well as I can possibly be, Mother Nature. Thank you. I've been lurking a couple of times with some of your videos, and I've been mentally not available to chat in the chat room. I guess I didn't have anything witty to say, but I have been lurking in a couple of your videos, just to let you know. But anyway, my daughter visited me here because you just got here. But my daughter showed up in the middle of the night to wish me a happy birthday. So, how much better gift or whatever from the universe can you expect? Especially when you have a good rapport with a loved one, relative, or whatever. But in the grand scheme of the universe, though, and even with my daughter and the fact that we're separated by miles and whatever, and her life is much more hectic than mine. But in the scheme of things of life is that we still have faith in each other, and we have faith in the love between us. And thank you very much for that, Mother Nature. Absolutely. 67. Oh my God, I never thought I'd make it this far, honest to God. But here I am, and doing better than I was several years ago, as testament from my daughter. You look better, Pops. Thumbs up to that. Hey, cheers, everybody. Little orange juice early in the morning. Yeah, thank you. Congratulations, I made it. But the interesting thing is that over time, some people I say grown-ups because I don't consider myself a grown-up sometimes. I look at other people that are my age and go, what are what are you people doing? What are you faking this crap for? They played this game, well, I'm the adult, and yeah, so what? I know Jackie's my daughter, but we're also spiritual beings between us, regardless of whatever else are said, done, life, this, that, the other thing. We're two spiritual beings, like my grandmother and I were, and we weren't related physically, but my granny and I were related ESP way. And so my daughter and I are the same way. And it's like, and I see other people who refuse to accept that kind of thing with, well, my daughter this or my son that, and it's both on both parents. And sometimes it's, it's either or parent, or sometimes it's both is what I mean. Um, I'm too grown kind of gets annoying. Yeah. And see, it's like me. I'm looking at ways to go out and have more adventure and fun than, wanting to sit in a chair and get old. No, I'm actually looking how actively I'm fixing to go on an adventure here very soon that I may tell you all about shortly. But it's like adventure at my age. Why not? When you get to my age, you start thinking, wait a minute, if my choices, and this is the power of faith, do I have enough faith in my own self and the courage to like try something new at this age instead of just being an old dog? Does an old dog learn new tricks? I had a 20-year-old dog and I taught him all kinds of stuff. He was great. I miss that dog. But so the point, can an old dog learn new tricks if he wants to? If he's a lazy old hound dog, he's just going to lay on the porch no matter what. But I choose not to be that lazy old hound dog on the porch. Now I realize there are parts of my behavior that have become as lazy as an old hound dog on the front porch. But it's because my energies have been directed in different areas. Like I'd much rather go outside and pull weeds in the garden than to clean my house. My house needs a little cleaning and straightening up. Um, but to the point though, it's like, so my energies are in the wrong direction. And I realize that, the garden's still important, but why ignore I come in the house to live? Why ignore this? Well, I'll just go outside and be in nature. Meh. There are certain things you have to learn. And there are certain times, like for me, I have to learn to be a grown up again. Like, wait, how did this, I went through some kind of phase and now I'm like, whatever this phase is now for me, and it's also this time of year for me. I don't know if it's because of my birthday, and because I'm a Libra, just barely, with Virgo tendencies. But the idea though that I have the power to see, well, wait a minute, it's cooler weather, it's fall, there's a robustness in the air after a long summer and hot, so, but I have the power to choose to whether or not to do anything or to get something done or to make a change in my life. And I'm seeing people who are in their 50s, late 40s, who are just sitting in a chair. And I'm like, no, I sit in a chair enough. I want to do something. I want to get in my kayak again. I'm going to go find another river. I'm going to find, there have been people who have called me recently, like, man, I lost your number 2 or 3 years ago. And all of a sudden I'm getting calls. So for some reason, there's like, and it's nice they're contacting me. But in that there are people who have been out of touch with other people who somehow are reconnecting is my point. And it's like, well, great, yeah, let's get together and cook something on the grill. All right, or yeah, you want to go fishing? Well, okay. Or I don't care about fishing, but you want to go canoeing? I got all the rigmarole. Let's go. And people, well, okay. So now whether we actually do it or not, now I know I will go back on the river. But to the point though, it's the fact that none of us want to sit down. At our age, we're like, nah, no, I'm sorry. I've watched Netflix and Hulu enough. I'm sorry. I would rather watch something else. And nature or rivers or woods or whatever is a much better view screen, if you will. And but it's more than that. It has to do with the spiritual nature of it. So, which is very impressive to me, and that, I know that the red road that I'm on. I know where my spiritual path is. I i don't necessarily know where it's going, but I know I'm on it. You know what I mean? Do I know what's going to Did I know my daughter was going to show up? Well, I knew I had to stay home and the answer would be shown to me, and she showed up. And had I been in Tifton tonight or this morning, I would have missed my daughter. Now, of how bad of an accident for birthdays would that have been? To miss her, and because she was trying to surprise me. Whoa! So I listened to my spirit and I stayed home, and that was my good surprise on a bunch of levels. And how bad would I have felt to have been like, what? You came up and I missed you by what? Shit. Man, I'd have felt bad. Talk about having a bad birthday. But it worked out the opposite way. That's my point about the power of faith. When you have faith in the universe and the way things, you say, well, this didn't really work out the way I had planned. Yeah, but my daughter showed up. I mean, now that isn't necessarily true every time, but the thing is that the universe speaks to you and will show you things. Um, Mother Nature, Halloween is your birthday. Oh, I love Halloween. I really do. I have a friend of mine. We used to do big Halloween every year. I mean, we'd have hay wagons full of people come. I used to do puppets and storytelling, and we did a mule barn and fixed it up with black lights and stuff. We did Halloween up. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be a short time with my daughter, Mother Nature. But the fact that I could just give her a hug is like worth it. Um, yeah, I knew deep down. Thank you. I did. Something was, and the thing is though I tried to fight it, and then I kind of stopped and meditated on it a few minutes and said, well, but I told my friends I was going to be there, and it was like, but you need to call them and tell them you some. And I was so specific. I said, something has come up, and I have to take care of it. And as I said it, I was like, something come up. Am I lying to him? No, my daughter showed up. So when I was saying this on the phone to my friend, I'm like, but basically I told him the truth. So it's like that was kind of odd in itself. Well, my friends, it is dawning, and I've been on here for 40 minutes almost. And I just, with Mother Nature, cosmic hugs all around anybody else that shows up and it makes it this far. I do absolutely love you all. I do. Keep up with your good work with your spirits. Keep your own faith and understand these basic powers that we have. The power is we have free will. The power is we have choices. The power is our intent. Our faith is understanding that we can make a difference regardless of who we are. Mother Nature, I know there have been times I just turn you on and listen in the background just to, and just because I don't, play in the chat doesn't mean I don't love you, you know. But at the same time, I don't necessarily need to feel that I have to put something in the chat to let you know that I'm there. I mean, I know that's kind of cosmically strange, and in that yeah, thank you, Mother Nature. My daughter's here for even a short time. I'm a happy camper. I was happy anyway, but this is just even better. If no one has told you lately, you're awesome and doing a great job. Oh well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I do this with sometimes humble regret, because I'm like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to do a live stream. Yeah, Creator wants you to have a little conversation. And while things are fresh in my mind and they're asleep and I'm wound up, um, in that, the power of faith. And so many people lack it anymore. Just they don't have enough faith in themselves. They don't have enough faith in, have a little faith in your friend. If they keep, if they do something wrong, try to work it out. But if they keep doing you wrong, then just say, you can be your friend over there. I'm not going to hate you, but we're just not going to be close anymore. We have there are certain criteria we need to be following right now. And the one rule, the rule of one, the universal law of do no harm. If you've got somebody that's doing you harm or trying to push you into harm's way on a regular basis, you have the power to change that and do so. At the same time, at my age, I realized that I don't have as much physical power as I used to have because I'm 67 and had some issues. But the idea that I'm not giving up. I still exercise. I still try to walk. I still kayak. So, but I'm looking in different areas. I might not be able to run the mile, but I can paddle 10 miles. Okay, so you change. Look for something else to do and look for a different way to do it, because we have the power of choice. We have the power to change. And sometimes we just change a small thing. For example, in the universe, when I was taking my physics classes and so forth as an engineer and understanding strengths and stresses and so forth, it's like, you can be off this much, but if you take it and you're going off at an angle. So if you got two parallel lines, but if they're not parallel, if one of those lines is off, it's okay in a short distance. But what if this one line gets misaligned? At the end of a mile, it's a big difference. So for example, in Boy Scouts, and when you learn mapping and using a compass, you say, well, if I'm 1 degree off, well, 1 degree off in a mile isn't that bad. You might be able to see your destination. But if you're 1 degree off in an airplane flying from Tampa to Dayton, you're going to end up in Missouri. You're going to vector off. So in life, we try to parallel the red road, our spiritual life, with as much as we possibly can. But there are times when we veer off, even just slightly. If we continue in the long scheme of life, as in my 67 years, I'm going to keep using it because it's my birthday and I can do what I want. I'm kidding, but not. But anyway, you could only do that once a year. But the idea, but if you get off just a little bit, and I think this is what happens in relationships and marriages and brothers and sisters and whoever, that if you get off of that track just a little bit and they keep continuing, but you're still on the same path, at the end run of this, in the short term, not much difference. 2, 3 years, 10 years down the road, you go, wow, that person's really way over there somehow. We're kind of parallel, but we're not. Their thinking's kind of weird. And, so the idea that we can be off, so in aligning our spirits, that I'm bringing this up in that in our lifetime, in our lifespan, what I think about things now at 67 versus when I was 47, 20 years ago, I got a totally different perspective. And even though spiritually wise, I felt basically the same, do no harm. I've been a hippie since the late 60s, and I'm still a hippie. But the idea, though, that my core value didn't really change, but my knowledge and the things that's happened to me and people in my life and doing these other things has changed my perspective. So they have made an addition to my life, like all of you, Mother Nature, and all these wonderful people that I've met. And if I had not had the faith in my vision of Mother Mary, that I needed to do this and to communicate with people about some of these things, I would not have met all of you lovely people. I had to have faith. Duh. I had to have the power within myself. And for those of you who've been with me a while, I was really god dog shaky in the beginning, And for those who have watched my earlier videos now, in a lot of ways, I'm a lot more polished in that respect. But it's through my own power of faith. I got to have faith in what Creator's sharing with me is, and it's got to be true to my heart, because otherwise I don't want to share it. If this ain't true to me, I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I listen to both sides a lot, or differing opinions. But the idea, though, that I still keep my core value. How can you use your wisdom of discernment and understanding if you choose not to pay attention? It's like somebody can say, well, there's a forest out there all the time, but did you notice that that one got struck by lightning? Or, the forest for the tree kind of deal in this. Um, but the idea, though, that how strong is your faith? What do you have faith in? Some people say, well, I don't know, I have faith in my church. Do you? Okay. There's so many people who have been failed by the church and who realize after years and years of studying, practicing, church going, giving to the church, that their money's been going to weird people and pedophiles, and even not just the Catholic Church, but there's some Southern Baptists who aren't very nice, and a lot of stories go around, and you hear things down out here in the country. But this goes on all over the place, and it's not just one religion. It's the people who try to use their power and try to use your faith to their power, not to your own. And so many people, disregard that. It's like, well, why do you go to church? Well, I go to listen to the preacher. Well, why? Did he tell you anything that you didn't already know? Well, no. Did his, gospel or preaching struck you very much, or did he just preach fire and brimstone and, we're all in the apocalypse and we're all going to die tomorrow? How many of us have, I myself, 5 years ago, oh, we're all going to die. Well, yeah, well, guess what? Things have changed. And I think it's because of our attitude. I think many of us said, you know what? I don't want, I realize that we are all in a series of revelations right now. Hey, Cherry, how are you? Melanie, blessings to you. I think I saw somebody else pop on. And good morning to all you dear folkses. That the faith within ourselves, but we have to, there are people who would steal our faith. It's like, for me, for example, one of the things in my instructions with my higher self and with my guardian angel is, this is not about me telling you need to think this way. No. And my job is to say, listen, you can think this way, but there are 8 other versions of this. There might be an infinite number of versions of this. So my job is to not say, well, should you read the Bible? No, read it, but make sure you're reading the right version. My daughter and I had a conversation about that a couple hours ago. It was like, she found an older version. She goes, Pops, it's so easy to read. The New King James versions and all this stuff, that the older versions were really easy to read and to understand. So you want to read the Bible, go to an earlier version. I'm not telling you don't do these things, but be careful of what you're reading, because things have been changed by other people and they want you to believe something differently. And it's our own faith. Wait a minute, this seems a little off over here. Or why is there a discrepancy? Why did the quote, some of these New King James versions, for example, leave out any of the Psalms? Why did they combine some of the Psalms? Why did they have to change it? Why didn't they just reprint it? Oh, because they wanted to print it their way. But hang on there, so in reading things like Confucius or this, that, some of these older traditions and religions, Buddhism and things, Buddha didn't want anybody to worship him. He was like, no, you don't worship me, but you are the Buddha. You have the understanding. Yeah, but you don't worship me. Sorry. I don't think Jesus wanted anybody to go around and his apostles to do what they did. They did to take money and take me in. They perverted what Jesus taught them, and by the time Paul got around, he's hogwashed a bunch of people. Saul type Paul, oh, what a liar he is. But anyway, I mean, there are Catholic priests that refuse to read any Gospels of Paul. So just saying, that Paul was like, some of his ideas, but in the long run, nah, stay out of that mess. And the Old Testament is a really good story. What do we take with us? What should we bring forth in our faith as far as religion? Should we believe that Jesus died on the sins for our cross, died on the cross for our sins? Well, could you understand that? How come churches want to baptize you every time you turn around to wash you from your sins? When Jesus supposedly, if you follow the true faith, that he died for our sins. So then how can you say, I got to be washed of my sins if Jesus already died for them, past and present? So I'm already covered here. But now, if I do do murder or do something nasty, that's a sin I need to repay myself. But if you're trying to tell me I have an original sin and I'm born with sin, and you gotta keep washing me of this stuff, well, hang on here. So, in the clarity of things, where is your faith lie? I have faith in myself. Now that wavers on my own personal part frequently, sometimes physically, because I don't know whether or not I can physically do the things I used to do, 10 years ago, kind of thing. I can't walk as far. Doesn't mean I can't walk. I just can't walk as far. Or is that in my own head? No, it's because I really tire out and I got to sit down. But it doesn't mean I'm going to give up. So, but our faith in things, I have faith that I can make it from here to there, and I will. Boom. And with a little more faith, I can make it up the driveway and back to get my mail instead of having to drive up there in the truck. I mean, they're just little things in my life, but in our decisions in life can be the difference of, well, I don't know if I can walk to the mailbox or not. Maybe you should walk to the mailbox. It's the questioning of whether or not we can or not. Well, if I'm 92 and I got brittle bones, maybe walking to the mailbox without help I might not do. But my point to this is that there are times where we convince ourselves well, I don't know if that's a good idea. And even my daughter and I kind of broached this earlier, bringing her up since she's visiting. The idea, though, that, sometimes we think about it so much, then our window of opportunity is gone. So it doesn't mean we necessarily always act on impulse with no thought of consequence, but rather than overthink something to the point where it doesn't make any sense or any point anymore. Now, that's something that we control. And that's something that's within our power. And that's where we bring our own personal faith in the person and the personal universe, our faith in that, hey, listen, I can get this done. As an example, many years ago, as I was a puppeteer and storyteller, I created all my own puppets and stories. If I wanted to do a play at the local community theater, I would present it to the group, and we would do this, and I would either the director, this, that, whatever. And there were times when I would come up with an idea, and they'd go, nah. So I convinced other people that, because of my previous experience in theater, that we can do this and we can make enough money to pay for the show and this, and we can cover the cost and present a whole package. And so I started out with an idea, put some ideas on an outline form, presented it to other people, and ended up creating. I rewrote Poe, and we presented 3 different short stories on the stage, Edgar Allan Poe, and we had great reviews. And so people said, well, you can't do that. And I was like, well, watch me. And so it ended up that it was a great success in Thomasville. And we had teachers come to tell their kids to come and watch it because they thought my representation of Poe and how we presented it on stage was very true. And they really liked the Fall of the House of Usher and some of the lighting and the techniques we did. People were like creeped out about the what we did for the anyway. But to the point, though, it started out as an idea. And it was my own will, my own faith in myself that I know enough people, I know enough actors, I know that this is a really good, to do Poe at Halloween is like a really cool thing, draw people in, and it's Poe. And so it's like, how can we do this? And boy, we had some issues with how to create some things. But rather than saying I couldn't do it, I tried to having the house crumble in the House of Usher. We actually had a house that fell and crumbled into the light and then smoke came. Oh, it was cool. But the idea, though, that it started out as an idea, and we brought it to fruition. We performed it. People came. We made money off of it because they didn't they should have paid me royalties on the show, but it was community theater. But the fact that I wrote the shows and was able to produce them, and that we pulled it off the way we did, that was what I was after. But it was the idea that I dreamt years ago of being able to do Poe on stage and to do it well. And we did. So there you go. It took me years to do it, but that's not the point. I got her done. And it was from the spark of an idea that it developed. And I mean, there were, 50 people involved with this. We had set changes and lighting and, and special effects. And, we had people involved, people backstage and all that kind of stuff. So, but the idea though, that can you do something if you put your mind to it? There were people that told me I was just absolutely crazy. We actually did Scrooge on stage 2 years in a row. I rewrote Dickens, and we presented it in short little vignettes. And we actually ended up went to the Thomasville Cultural Center and performed it there one year, because they saw it the year before and asked our cast to come and perform it again. So we did it 2 years in a row at two different venues, mind you, with holdover crowds. I'm very proud. But the idea, though, that they told me it couldn't be done because there were too many people, there were too many set changes. Well, it's too much. We pulled it off. That's the point. I had, in my own heart, I had faith in that we could pull this off. I had the knowledge of my engineering and all my years with theater. But to the point, though, and this is not to blow my horn, it's to say that I accomplished these things when the idea started out as a spark. It started out as an idea. How much do you want in life? What do you want to accomplish? Do you want to write a play and then see it performed? Then do it. Do you want to do this or whatever? Then do it. Plan it, study it. Now, I just didn't walk in and do it. No, it took months of preparation. I had to sell the idea a year in advance, because that's how they worked out their scheduling with the plays. And so, I had to do this 2 years in advance. Came up with the idea, did this thing, studied, blah, 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 started writing the script so that when it came time for me to make the proposal, I had a script to show people and how we were going to do it and a layout, so that when it came time, then there were already people and producers in the theater group who understood what was coming up, what we were going to do. We talked about it at our monthly meetings and production meetings and so forth. But so, what do you want to do? Do you think you have any power? Do you think you're just a single individual and that you can't affect anything? Do you think that you're too old and tired and dead and there is no more effective change that you can have on the world? Think again. What do you have faith in? It sounds like if you don't understand. Now, my intentions, like all along with like the two plays I just discussed, my intentions were to do Poe. It wasn't to have my name in lights, because I'd already had that. It was to do Poe. So my intentions were pure. So in whatever you do, make sure that your intentions are pure. So that's why I was effective, because my intentions were pure. I hit a bunch of blocks along the way to try to get the production done of this thing. If you could have seen these shows, they were not easy to pull off in a lot of ways. But to the point, though, rather than convince myself it couldn't be done, I went in with a project of like, there are 32 scene changes in 2 hours. Wait a minute, how are you going to pull that off? I got an idea. and we pulled it off in less than 2 hours. The show's actually the the tighter we got everything and everybody got to know each other in the cast, actually the more concise we did the show in an hour and 45 minutes. 39 scene changes. I mean 29. I actually we cut out a couple of scenes, and by the end of the show I think we were actually down to 29 scene changes, and they all went just like that. But anyway, but that's the whole point is that, and I had to exude the energy to the other people within the theater group. Like, well, I don't know if this can be done. Listen, have faith. If you bring negativity in with scene changes and, well, this person, that, just calm down and do it. Just flow, and I've taught many people who are really agitated, calm down. It's a scene change, calm down. I don't care if they're 20 seconds late. I don't care if you have, that's not the point. The point is I want it to flow. And if you're jerky and dropping and jumping and running, no, I don't want that. I'm sorry. Other people may, but not me. And so at the end of it, everything flowed just so smoothly. Everybody in the cast was like, holy crap, I can't believe we did that. I had faith in you guys. And that's all. And I told them every day that I was in with them in rehearsals with them, I have faith in you all. Have faith in yourself. And I've had many of the young actors that I've directed over the years come back to me and go, Mr. Dave, you gave me my first chance on stage, and I will never forget that. You were so kind and considerate, and you saw something in me I didn't believe I had. And it's not because I want them to applaud me. It's because I wanted them to be the best that they could. Why do I do these videos and talk about these topics? Because I bring them up to see what you can find in your life. And I bring up my own stories because I can prove the stories, and I can prove that, I've got posters and stuff of the shows. So in that I need to prove that my story is true of what I just told you about the 2 shows I did with Thomasville on Staging Company. I used to work there as a technical director and build sets and all that. But the idea, though, that I don't need to make up a story. These are true facts. And so that for people in real life, well, what kind of story can I give you? Well, I don't know. Well, I could tell you about a machine that I designed that I thought nobody could fix, and I got it to work. And oh my God, it saved like $1 million in 2 years. I mean, literally $1 million in 2 years in production costs and things. So, but the idea, though, there are people who say, well, it can't be done. And I was the person who said, how can it be done? I still am. It's 67. Happy birthday to me. Ha ha ha. Yeah, accolades and all that. I'm having early morning excitement fit, I guess, because my daughter's here for my birthday. And I'm very proud of that she took the effort and so forth. And I would have loved her anyway if she'd have just called, but to see her is even better. But what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to change? What is it? Why do you want to change it? If something sucks, what sucks about it? Is picketing going to do any good, or is grassroots? I started talking about the algae in the river. And every time I could find somebody, I would talk about the algae in the river. And people are now telling me about the algae in the river. And somehow the word has just kind of gotten out. Now people are going, did you see the algae in the river? And I'm like, I told one person, 2 people, this person in the store, this guy fishing, blah, blah, blah. And now people are talking about the amount of algae in the river because of all the chicken poo around here. So from a grassroots level, from just simply going around and talking it up to folks, people are noticing. So sometimes it may just bring it up casually. Have you noticed how green the river is? In my case, this subject. Or have you noticed there are no frogs in the river anymore? Did you have when's the last time you saw a snake? And I'm serious. Around here, they had rattlesnake roundups. They had to stop it. There aren't any snakes anymore. Now, one could say, well, rattlesnakes, being gone, that's a great thing. Rattlesnakes had their place too. But the thing is that other snakes were harmed. Gopher turtles and tortoises were harmed. and the ecology was hurt, and it upset the balance of things. Snakes had their place, and you take them all out, and it's like there are rodents or this, you know what I'm saying? So you don't mess with Mother Nature. Mother Nature. I think, yeah, you too, Mother Nature. Ian, hi, David. Hello, all in the chat. Blessings to you. A 65 Starlight, happy thank you. I'm not doing this because of my birthday, but it just happens to be my birthday. So, anyway, um, but thank you all. Yeah, this isn't a self, hey, look at me, it's my birthday. No, I'm just freaking proud I made it this many years. When you get to this age, it's just like, I made it to 67. Yay, me, holy crap, I made it, another year. So, anyway, somebody asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said, you're going to think this is strange. I want some good old homemade potato salad. I mean, Southern made homemade potato salad. What do you mean? No, I just want, you don't, now, cake, okay, okay. But what do you want? I want some homemade potato salad. Go figure, right? Big dream of mine is to have some homemade potato salad before the day is out. And a cupcake with a candle. That's an inside joke. But anyway, but back to the point of the having faith. And so people say, well, I don't know. Well, I want to change the world. Well, okay, so change the world one soul at a time, one spirit at a time. When Mother Mary came to me, and I had all my visions and things that I have discussed over time. It was like, Hawkeye, we talked about this when you were 11. I've come and visited you over the years, and I've told you that there is going to be a time when you were going to have to speak, and you were going to come kicking and screaming, and all of those things came true. But when it came time to accept that, listen, do this, and whatever the results, if my intent is pure and true and honest, and people without having say, thank you for your humbleness, and I thank you that you recognize the fact that, that I'm sitting here and talking to you one on one and just saying, listen, we're all in this together. Understand that we are all angels. We all do have these powers to change things. My plans got interrupted, but my daughter's here today. Wow. So I'm going to go kicking and screaming under any circumstances? No. Sometimes those little idiosyncrasies of life are the blessings that we need to stand and go, well, amen to that one, my brothers and sisters. Cherry, it's good to see you. I was thinking about you earlier for whatever reason, but I'm glad to see you're here, and blessings. Melanie, Mother Nature. Mine is a fruit salad. Um, 65 Starlight, good question. What do I want to do? And see, it could be a write a story, but then what do you want to do with the story? Then maybe that you publish the story, and maybe what's your motive, and it's like, but it doesn't have to. One of the things you have to understand is that act on, for example, you say, well, I got an idea. First thing you do is write your idea down, because then later on you go, well, I had an idea the other day, but I can't remember the details. And I've done that with drawings and like coming up with different ideas on how to build sets and things like that, and other engineering feats and things. So, you sit there and you go, crap, I don't know how I'm going to get this done. You go, well, let me just jot down a couple of the ideas I got now. Because in a day or so, you get rearranged and you go, crap, what was that I was thinking? I don't know. And then you got this little piece of paper with some scribble notes on it. You go, that's right. I remember that. That's for it. This is, oh, and then now after 2 days, you look at it again and go, I know how to take care of this problem. Oh, problem solved. So, so the biggest thing is, regardless of what it is, if you want to go build a house, if you want to go do a thing, write the idea down. Let the ideas flow. And then later on, you go, well, I don't remember the details. Sometimes the original thoughts you have are what you need to go back to. And that's the knowledge that you learn after years. Like, I got all kinds of pages of stuff that I write down. And sometimes I flip back through it and go, I wrote this 4 years ago? because I'll always put a date beside something. If I have an idea, thought, or a discussion, I write the date. And I go, okay, today's September 24th, 2019, blah, 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 ding, ding, ding. And then, 2 or 3 years later, I go back and I'm flipping through things and I go, holy crap, I wrote that? Wow, that's true. You know what? And I've learned from this, and I need to, share this with folks because there's some really good shit I wrote down here 4 years ago. So, but the thing is though, so I've learned from myself on writings that I've learned in during spiritual moments of, just during spiritual moments. But so the thing is that where do you want to start? Well, start by writing things down. And it doesn't have to be in any particular order. I have these little, I get them in different colors for different years. I was getting the black ones, but now I'm on the blue ones. But and I got, this one here is Ruminations 2019. Well, I didn't fill this thing up, and we're going to be in 2020 soon, so I'm going to have to add a thing 2020. I don't know how many years will be in this thing at the end of it, but ruminations, things I had thoughts about, write them down. And sometimes it's messages. Many folks call it spirit writing. And it's true. In the middle of the night, I'll have an idea thing, especially when I was working, doing plays and things. I have this weird idea and I see this little thing and I'd write down a paragraph, close up the book or whatever, and go back to sleep. And holy crap, it come out to be that was an angel message, if you will, and that there was instructions for a problem or something like that. So and I've been doing this for many years, so, me and my old age thing. But the idea, though, that we, and Tesla used to do that all the time. He kept a pad and pen there next to his bed, and he'd have these ideas, didn't really know what they meant, but he wrote them down. So what do you want to do? Start writing things down. Change your life in that. Because you'd be surprised, as I have been myself, and going back over things and looking through some of these books where I've written down ruminations. Sometimes they're stories, sometimes they're, it's a little paragraph of something that I wrote that's sort of one of those anonymous things that you see in somebody wrote somewhere. Well, some of them are like even profound to me. And I'm like, holy crap, I wrote that? Here's the date on that. Wow. Interesting. What have I learned since 2010 that I wrote back then? What does it mean? I mean, so you teach yourself, but do you have faith in that? Well, sometimes these messages from the stars, if you will, in automatic writing or spirit writing, and it's basically just saying, okay, here's a pen and paper. What do you want me to write about? Just start writing. Well, today was a good day, or today it was raining, or just start writing. And then the next thing out will be that whatever thought comes down and you write it down. And maybe there's a thought that needs to come out of your head. Maybe it needs to be written down. Maybe for whatever area that you're in or whatever that you're studying. But the idea is that it's the faith, it's part of the power that you have to accept and receive from the universe. So when you start writing things down, blah, 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 then you start understanding, oh, holy crap, I am connected. Oh, holy crap, over time, this makes a difference. When I was talking about, two parallel lines, if it ain't quite parallel, over a year, they're still going to look parallel. But after 67 years of my life, I look at parallel lines and go, that person's way over there in another state now. Versus, are we still connected spiritually or in any kind of parallel universe? And many of the folks that I know are just like, I'm in another universe to them. And so you people are the sane ones. I applaud you people. You people are the sane ones. Blessings to you. And I'm going to shut up because it's daylight out and I have things to do and places to be. And I get to go run around in the yard before the sun comes up and jump for joy that I made it this far. I want to see what y'all are up to. Tampa is nice. Yeah. I'm going to be going down there for a short visit. I don't like Tampa. It's the energy. The area, yeah, but I moved out of Tampa because, yeah. Melanie, love to travel, but South is home. Yeah, I agree with you there, uh, Melanie. I'm not quite sure where you're from. A lot of love here today. Yeah, thank you all, for sharing the things that I consider special for my birthdays, or any day actually, is the fact that I can interact with other people. And it's not necessarily that you agree with me or you're trying to give me props. It ain't that. It's just sharing. That's what's important. And I think you folks are great. Oh, so Melanie, you are outside of closer to Odessa. I have a friend of mine who's in Lutz. Melanie, by the way, may be coming your way in a couple of days. Actually, um, I, I know a friend of mine who lived in Odessa years ago. Can't remember. She lived on a lake there. A lot of little lakes around in that area. But Cherry, there you are. Yeah, I love working with people who care just some each day and return it. That's what our job should be, you know. And Melanie, that's sorry that you lost yours too early. That really is. Um, sure, a traditional potato salad, mustard salad, German potato, cherry up. They asked me yesterday, "What do you want?" And I said, "Potato salad," because this particular friend of mine makes a kick-ass homemade potato salad. Just saying. And I was like, potato salad. That's what I want. Ian, how are you if you're still here? 65 Starlight. Yep. All right, I caught up with that. Next time I'm near Tampa, you could make me some. Well, if I'm down there in the next 2 days, you're gonna make me some. I'm planning on seeing my sister. I hope in a couple of days. I hope. Cherry, I'm trying so hard, but I get this old odd feeling like if I buy something to enjoy myself, suddenly my neighbor needs it. But if I give it, I say I want to use it, they're offended. Right, I get that. Melanie says Southern Engineering, we can make damn near anything. Southern Engineering, I used to work with a firm that had that name. I'm going way back up the line. I know that's an hour back. Yeah, the thing about helping somebody out, just do whatever you can, you know, whatever is within your capacity. And there are some days when there's a bum standing by the door with a can, and maybe you got an extra dollar. Maybe you don't have an extra dollar, but that may be the day that dollar means something, and without question. So one of the things that we have to understand in life that, you know, we can help a person a time or two without question because they're human beings. But when people try to abuse us for our good naturedness, we must say no because that's wrong and because they draw our energy down, they draw on our resources. And I've helped homeless people before. And I mean, just pick them up off the street and bring them home because they didn't have any place to stay. That did not end well. But it's not that it didn't end well because they refused, they had to steal something from me. They had to abuse my good nature. Even though I don't have much, that's not the point. They abused it nonetheless. So anytime anybody's ever helped me out, I always try to give them something back, at least of nothing but my kindness, my respect. And the last thing I would do would be to steal from them. So, but the idea though that you got to do, you got to want more. You got to have to, you know. So, but for our own self-respect and for our own power within us, we need to understand that yes, we can help people but when people are sucking us dry, we need to we need to keep our own core value. Don't drain our resources down to zero kind of thing without being cruel, mind you. It's all about, you can tell people to F off without saying the word F. I mean, without saying the word. And I made a choice back a couple of years ago, especially on YouTube, that, I was going to speak in the positive. And so, in being positively speaking In other words, I try to say, well, no, you can't do that. Don't do that. I try to avoid certain negative words, and it has a positive effect. And so, and I used this in business. I used it in theater. You talk in the positive because you want positive things from your actors and your crew. You want them. I want to work together. I'm not going to holler at them. That you really got to piss me off for me to get me to holler at you. I'd much rather go, hold on. Let's stop and look at this. Or like, listen, here's our cue, this is what we need to do, or this is how you run a machine, whatever it is that it was that I was in charge of or trying to accomplish. But the idea was hollering at people, just holler at me, you ain't gonna get shit out of me. You come over and go, Dave, listen, you need to pick it up a little bit. But we're on the dead. Okay, right, gotcha. But to come over and say, you're slow, goddamn, yeah. And so the idea of like using the F word, so there are ways that you can tell people to get lost without being cruel, or without using nasty words, or without provoking a hostile return. So it's like, with people, well, I don't understand what that guy got pissed off, man. What did you tell him? Well, I told him to fuck off. Well, and then you turn around and go, well, but I had a reason. You had a reason to tell him to fuck off? Well, yeah, I mean, it's my right. Well, that's because you used the F word. Well, yeah, but, he uses it. But if you wanted to get rid of him, you say, sir, listen, I've had enough of your behavior. And would like to please for you to leave me alone. But it's like, well, wait a minute. So then the person's offended. Well, yeah. Well, not only do you not want them, now they want to like come back at you because you told them to, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, there are ways that you can do this and actually achieve with better results without having to use this negative, nasty stuff. There are ways to ignore. There are ways to alter your behavior. That's our choice. That's our power. People say, well, I don't know. I don't have any power over the situation. Well, how did you react? Well, I got all pissed off and told all my workers that I was really pissed off. Well, then you just showed your ass to the rest of your workers and what your opinion is. Now they know that you're pissed off. So could you have handled your reaction different? Well, listen, I don't like what this man said, but could you I have acted very immaturely in some situations, gotta say. But at the time I thought, and somebody told me later on, I said, you know what? Somebody needed to show that ass, and you had to be an ass to show them, didn't you? And I said, unfortunately, yeah. I tried all my other things, and I had to actually just come out and kind of holler and scream and jump up and down and act like them to get their attention. And then, but 10 minutes later, I walked back in and said, now, did I get your attention? Can we talk about this on my terms now? Did I get, sometimes with a mule, you got to hit them with a 2x4. That should just get their attention. That's an old Southern joke. But it's true. Sometimes you just got to wallop somebody. Somebody needs to understand, like, well, I don't have to worry about what I eat until they get diabetes. And then it's like, you've got all these years of all this crap in your system. But no, I got diabetes. Well, you should have thought about that 20 freaking years ago. It's like some of my family, I love my pops, and his birthday was on the 19th. He's been passed now for, wow, 20 years now. But the idea, though, that bacon was like a necessity, at least 3 or 4 times a week. And when you got a heart condition, sorry, bacon should not be on your list. I mean, my pops will love him to death, but he would sit and eat bags of cracklings, which is pork rind and fat. And but yeah, they were good. But but isn't that adding to your heart disease, which he died of? And so I looked back before he was in his condition and thought, no, I'm sorry. I just, I'm a little bacon once in a while, a little of this once in a while, but man, a lifestyle of this. So I've changed my lifestyle years ago. And talking with my daughter earlier, this 2 hours ago now, in that I said, I can actually, and you all have heard me say this, I can actually bend my knee more better than I could since I was 15 years old, which is also um, back in whatever year I turned 15 was when I had my leg broken playing football. And so it's a couple, it's an anniversary of sorts in many different ways, but I've got more mobility in my leg now since when it was broken when I was 15. So it's like that. So that's faith. That's the power of I don't care how old I am, I'm still going to move my leg. I don't care how old I am, I can change the way I eat. I can change my diet. I stopped doing plastics and my arthritis is better. Can I attribute it to anything else? No, because I've trimmed all these other things like excess sugars and things. I'm getting older. Do I want diabetes? No. Do I want high blood pressure? No. Do I? So, but what are the things that cause them? I can have control over those. I have the power if I have faith in myself and my own abilities. I was 245 pounds. I'm 165, maybe 170 right now. And people say, what? You don't know what it's like to be fat. I was 250 pounds. Okay. Had a 38 size pants I was wearing. What do you mean I don't know what being overweight is like? Yes, I do. And I chose not to be there. I wasn't fat and then I did and then I came back. So do I understand? Sure. And it's all about self-control. What do you want to be later on? Well, I'll eat this candy today so I can have diabetes down the road. That's that one little stone where parallel lines, one little stone can veer off. So you do a little sugar and you keep kind of on and you don't really change your path. But as you go down the line of life, you realize that as you get down it, and many people look back with regret and go, crap, I wish I hadn't done that. You didn't have enough faith in yourself that you could do it, like stop drinking, or there are alcoholics in my family. I was one of them. But later on in life, now it's been close to 30 years ago. Well, it's been at least 20 that I can say that. Now, I quit drinking 30 years ago as far as drinking to get drunk all the time, every day, to just having a beer once in a while. But the medicines and things I was on and the seizures I was having, alcohol did not agree with me at all. But anyway, but the thing is rather than and I reached a stage where it's like, but I drank that much of a beer in like a fruit glass thingy and a big shot glass, right? And it knocked me out. And I was like, I woke up with my face on a table and I looked around and went, what happened? And they were like, well, you drank that little bit of beer. And I was like, no more. I don't care. I love the taste of, wine, but I don't want to get drunk. But so over the years, I realized, you know, do I want my head to go out? Do I want to pass out on somebody's, picnic table because I had to drink a beer? The alcohol. No, 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 no. So, but I could have continued. Well, maybe I'll try this kind of beer. That's what I did. Maybe I'll try 2% beer. Maybe I'll try that. Oh man, it was just all for naught. And then I realized, oh my God, I had this obsession with beer. Now, having a beer, there's nothing wrong with it, but I had this, well, I got to have one. Oh, well, wait a minute. Yeah, but, well, it's been 2 days I haven't had a beer. Oh my God. I mean, I was freaking out. And then I realized that, hang on, maybe, just maybe, you really don't need that beer. Can you get by? Well, see, that's taking control back of your life. That's realizing that you have the power. Saying no to cocaine was a difficult one for me. Saying no to some other drugs at one time was really difficult for me. But the whole point was, I said, wait a minute, what is this going to do to me down the road? At this rate, I'll never make it to 67. I made it. I made it. Oh boy. But to the point though, if I hadn't made certain decisions back when, I don't think I wouldn't have been here now, because it was not looking good. So you have to take the power back. You have to understand that you have it, and you have to have faith in yourself. Make up your mind. I'm going to quit this and do it. Now, I've been wanting a cigarette for the last 2 hours, but I'm like, nope, they're sitting right there, but I'm not going to smoke one because I have the power to say no. Now, I'm going to let y'all go because it's early and I got things to do, and I love you all I do for hanging out with me this long. God bless you. I mean it. I mean it. I mean it. You give me smiles on my birthday. Thank you much. And but to the point that I have control of this, and do I want it? Yeah, I want it, but do I need it? No. I mean, have that conversation with yourself and whatever you do. Take control back, keep control, and don't let people sway you. If you know what you're doing the right thing, then just hang on. And let them holler at you and just go, well, thank you very much. Everybody's got an opinion. They're just like buttholes. We all got one at some point. Some people wear them on their side now, but anyway, Terry says the only people that I connect with, real people on YouTube. Native Levy gave me tar to finish a driveway and was very friendly. Uh, Ian says modern alcohol is totally different these days. Absolutely, absolutely. I make my own homemade wine because the only thing I add in it is sugar and yeast, and it doesn't give me a headache. But that's enough. But two, um, quick brew ethanol with syrup flavored brewed in a couple of hours. Yep, Headache City. Yeah, when we made cheap wine in prison, boy, you talk about having a hangover the next, and the crappers. Shoo. I'll keep on two feathers. The body in motion stays in motion. Absolutely, Melanie. Terry says, so the next day went over with garden tomatoes. No answer. Saw a person in the yard. Tried the door. She didn't want the tomatoes and didn't want me back. Sometimes, and I worked for a guy. We putting up steel buildings back in the day in my younger years when I used to climb all over steel. I used to do the high work. Um, Thank you, Melanie. 65 Starlight says, I started to write down my messages, but no, not often enough. I'll now be more mindful. And it's everything that we do. It's our choices that we make. Well, and I've gotten lax. There are sometimes I'll do a YouTube video but didn't write down any notes, and later on I'll go, well, didn't I write that down somewhere? And I'm like, actually, no, I did a live stream about that subject, but didn't I write any notes? No. Well, you should have, because you said some things in there that there are a couple of sentences that really make a lot of sense, and you need to kind of repeat to yourself, remind myself. But with that spiritual message I'm talking about, yeah. But sometimes well, I think all messages are spiritual in a way. Just saying it, 65, teasing, but I'm not. Yeah, but anyway, all right. So after an hour and a half, and I was only going to do this for 45 minutes. I love you all. I do. Thank you so much for your blessings, and you keep your blessings. And I'm asking, do something for somebody else if you have the chance today. That's my birthday. That's my birthday wish. Of course, that's my wish every day when you hang out with me. So thank you all. Cosmic hugs all around. And until next time, in the next day or two, I might not be online, but I'll have some interesting information when I do come back online. So if I may ask, give me some positive energy the next couple of days, because there's a couple of things that I want to do that I really want to get done. And so, I very rarely, if ever, ask for folks to like, hey, I need a little help here. But in your kindness of thoughts and everything, there's a couple of things I need to get done by the end of this week. And so send me a thumbs up and, hey, Dave, get her done. Because I've asked the creator, I want to get this done, but I'm an old codger, and damn it, I need a little extra spiritual oomph once in a while. So, but anyway, it tongue in cheek, but seriously, if you can send me an extra prayer in this next couple of days, just mindful, just keep a good thought, Mr. Dave or Hawkeye, whatever your concern is. Thank you very much. And I'll give you the results maybe by this weekend. So, my friends, I love you. I do. Be kind to yourselves, everyone. Thank you, Melanie. Ian, absolutely. Thank you. Blessings back to you. Tesla just found him. Yes. Resonating like fire. Absolutely. Blessings, my friend. Have a great week. This is Tuesday, September 24th. I'm finally 65. I was born about this time in the morning, so it's actually official now because I was born about 8:02 in the morning, so it's actually official. I like to kid and joke. Thank you, my friends. Until next time, and I will leave you with the prayer as I always do, and I do mean it. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the blessings, the healing, and the wisdom of the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your relatives, and all of your relations will accept and receive and share the blessings of the universe. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will have a wonderful day. And thank you for the blessings you have sent me. But you continue to accept and receive and share these blessings from the universe. Know that you do have the power, you do have the choice, and you all are wonderful people. And maybe one day I'll meet some more of you folks. Keep an open mind. Cheers to all of you. And thank you for my birthday wishes. I've already had a good day and it's just begun. So thank you, my friends. Until next time. TTFN, that's Ta Ta for now, from South Georgia. I am your humble host and coordinator of cosmic crap, Mr. Hawkeye Two Feathers. Thank you all. Bye bye.